do it. Let's do it. Okay, so we're live. Welcome back to the Magic Minds podcast. I'm Matt Burke. You're watching and listening to the Liberties #1 podcast. Stories that have the power to inspire. That's the tagline. That's the inspiration behind my podcast. I'm inspired by people that have inspirational stories. On the show today, I'm joined by, no pressure, you better come packing with good stories.
As always.
As always. So I'm back on the podcast with my daughter, Shauna. I can't remember, when was the last time we done a podcast together about a relationship?
Something's telling me 2019, 2018. I
You
was still
think
in school.
I should have done the research on this. Were you still in school at the time?
Maybe not long ago.
Okay.
We spoke a little bit about it, so it would have been fresh.
Right. So I've asked Shauna to come on the show today to have a chat because this time last year, not exactly June of last year, but May of last year, she became homeless. Our family went through some difficult times, not me, the other half of our family went through some difficult stuff. She'll talk about that. And now, just a month ago, she became qualified as a yoga teacher. So she went from homeless to wholeness.
Sorry.
The Slay Queen. Yeah. You're like, so this time last year, you were homeless.
Yeah. So this time last year, it was a year ago. It's mad to think how different life can be and things can change in a year. But yeah, just last year it was around the 22nd, I think. Of May 2022.
Yeah.
Around 22nd, we became homeless, and it's mad to think back on the time. I never had any thoughts of, I've done college before, but it wasn't in my plan that I knew of to go back to college or anything like that. We were in the market, and it just came at the perfect time. It was like the perfect thing to come about. And just shortly after, I was homeless in May, and then started college in September.
Yeah. Before we get into that, before we get into the homelessness and but you didn't see yourself as homeless, did you?
No, we just spoke a little bit about that before I started. It's mad, like my dad just said to me a year ago, or sometimes you say it to me, like I was saying to you, that sometimes you say to me, oh, when you were homeless or when you became homeless. And for me, I've never felt like at any point, even when I was homeless, I didn't feel like that was me, or I identified with it. I was homeless. But yeah, it didn't feel like, even now thinking about it, I'm like, me, was I homeless? I was, but that's not how it felt, even when we did lose the home.
Was that a mindset?
I think so. I would have a good mindset like that. Even like we spoke about, when people say to me, oh, all you went through, like congratulating on me graduating college and all you went through last year, and like all the stuff you've overcome, and that's not me discrediting. I'm proud of myself and what I overcame. It just doesn't feel like, at the time it was a big thing. Like, it was such a big shock to me, and I have a younger brother and sister, and it was a big thing. People say it to me and make it, oh my God, all that you went through. But to me, I was like, there was no other option but to keep going. It wasn't like this is the end, or this is gonna stop me in any way. There was no other, like you said to me the other day about, like, you went on to college after everything you went through, and I was kind of like, there was no other option. It was just you have to keep going. And I feel like I would have that mindset. Some of my friends think I'm a bit crazy. I'm like, just it'll all work out, and it always does. Like you always say to me, like, if I'm struggling with something, you're like, look back, you have a portfolio of stuff that have went right for you in your life, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of thinking, like, what has gone right, and a lot of things still.
So what you're saying there, you're speaking into, if you're focusing on something and a challenge in your life and you find it difficult to overcome that, what you're doing now is you're reflecting upon times that you've went through challenges and it's all turned out for you. That, like, you don't have to come to me for the solution, you don't have to go looking outside yourself, that you have an awareness now that I've been through this and that, and it went all right for me, so the chances are I'm going to be all right.
Yeah, even at the time when I remember sitting in your house with you, and like I had, of course I have that good mindset, but there's obviously days where it gets heavier, and some days you're like, yeah, I've got this, and other days you just want to cry the gaff down, and obviously we did together in the studio, and even in them moments I still had belief of like, it's still gonna be alright. Yeah, like even some of my friends at the time, they were like, and I can see how for people, if they don't have that support or that mindset, it can get difficult, because I found that a lot of people around me were like, it's very like, oh my God, Shauna, oh my God, oh my God. And I'm just like, you just kind of have to, I don't mean block it out, but be sure that, like, even if people are trying to not even convince you, but say, oh my God, it's awful, try to just block that, not even block it out, that's not the right word to describe it.
Well, what you're saying is, it's not like you're blocking it out, you're not allowing it to impact impact how you think.
Yeah, definitely.
You're being so confident in, right, I believe in myself, I get it, and I'm not discounting what these people are trying to do, they're trying to be helpful, they're very meaningful, maybe unconscious, and projecting their perception onto you, and you're like, no disrespect, whatever.
Yeah, because I think it's a lot of thing. I feel like you hear people saying, oh, everything will be all right, or everything will work out, and it's like, sometimes I try to describe to my friends, like, I don't just say that as like a pass off comment, like I really believe it. Like you said, when you look back on stuff in your life that has happened or you've went through, like, majority of the things people worry about, they don't come true. Or when you really, I feel when I, like, all the times in my life, things that I've been through, even if it's small things, like just small things, I feel like I just really believe it. Sometimes my friends think like it's just something that I say, but it's really not. Like, I do.
Yeah, like there's a
believe it.
In one of the workshops that I run, called the Resilience Toolkits, one of the fundamental ingredients for resilience is optimism. Optimism, grounded optimism, as in, you hear Irish people saying, it'll be grand, it'll be all right, it'll be grand. But people that have really established a good sense of resilience within themselves will say that, but it's grounded optimism.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
It's
I
based
believe
on
it. Yeah, like what I said about what you've said to me before, like, look back on things that have, even like I said, small things in your life that you can look back and say, well, I thought this, and it works out.
So there's a few things that we pull back and talk about. But when you're facing a perceived problem, you seem to have identified that all the problems elicit the same reaction or response inside of you, and then your go-to thing now is to reference that, I'll always be okay. Is that something you do?
Yeah. Even when, like I said, days do get, when last year when we were homeless, like days where your mind, you can feel your mind trying to get in and get you down, and like I said, you have a cry, and you have days where it's a little bit harder, but just not letting that take over, not saying to not be sad.
Let
and
what take over?
Not let your mind get in and take over so I'm saying, no, I'm sad, like it's heavy today and things feel hard, but it's still gonna be all right.
Okay.
So when you're not, your mind tries to get in and convince you, oh, maybe it won't be all right, maybe you'll be like this forever, maybe da.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you're saying. What does the mind be trying to talk to you about?
Yeah,
what does it be saying
trying
to you?
talk you out of your own belief of everything will be all right, everything will work out.
So what do you do in that? Do you use awareness? Do you use observation? Do you become greater than that? Do you watch the mind? Do you watch the lies that it tries to spin you?
Yeah, like sometimes I find it hard to, like I use my friends as an example. If I'm trying to help my friend out in a situation, and like that, I'm trying to explain to them, like, look back on things in your life that have went good for you. And I feel like I've always been like this, so I find it hard to pinpoint a point where like that I feel like I've always been like this, so I find it hard sometimes to describe like what I do, or something that a tool that I use, because like that. I feel like I've always been like that. But in, like I'm saying, if we think about a situation like the homelessness in the moment, when, say, I had days when it was heavier and it felt sad, and like that your mind's trying to get in and tell you, oh, maybe it won't be all right. I feel like the best thing for me is to not do anything. Don't speak it out to someone. Don't notice. So I notice it, my brain trying to tell me, oh, what if you're homeless forever? What if this? What if that? I don't get into it with someone. Think.
So you don't be talking about the problem because you've observed that you can't trust that.
Yeah.
So if you speak that, is that what you're saying? If you speak that to
it
other
out.
people, then they'll start enabling it, and then
And it becomes a thing in your brain. It's like,
so you identify that's a lie.
yeah, it's like it's like a little, like the way we tell your voice, you hear it and you're like, shut up. It's kind of like that. You're just telling it to shut up, and eventually it'll be like, it's not real. You know, it's just your brain trying to.
So you've identified that your brain, the mind, it tells lies. Although you have this steely confidence inside of you, the voice, the pain body, whatever Eckhart Tolle calls it, it'll be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, the negative, trying to keep you safe. And then you're like, right, I'm aware of that. I'm not having a bar of that.
No.
And then what you do is, you're not going to go take this voice and then give it to someone else and start speaking about it, and then giving it legs and giving it wings.
It makes it real. And like, there's certain things or situations and times where it will kind of come, and I'll say it to you, like something that my mind is trying to.
Why do you think it would be beneficial to say it to me then?
Yeah, I would be very I'd be very wary of who I'd say it to. You would be one of the probably, I'm just gonna say few, but I could probably say only person, because you're not gonna add to it, you're not gonna get into it, and it's nearly like I'll say it to you and you'll remind me, like I'm speaking it nearly, and then you're like, am I letting? And then I'll say it to you, and then I'm like, wait, am I letting it get in? And I'm like, no, stop that. You'll be a reminder of, to believe in that it's gonna be all right. That's just your mind trying to.
Yeah, so what me and you can do together is that we can identify it as a lie.
Yeah,
we
it's like a reminder. I'll say it to you, and then even sometimes the minute I say something to you, I'll realise I've just let myself say it out loud.
So does this fit for you? So you will be, for a brief moment, you'll find yourself identifying as the problem, as that voice. And then when you come to me and say that I'm having this and this, all of a sudden you'll come to the realization you're in it and it's speaking as you, and then you'll pop out, and you're back being the observer. You're not identifying as it. Like when people say, I am anxious, I am sad, it becomes an identification. And you're speaking about the problem as the problem, but you go, okay, right, the mind is telling me to do this, this and that.
And then the minute you see it, then like that, so you're like,
shut up. And then, but like when you go and I love what you said there, when you go and speak to some friends or family or whatever, they want to get into it, and they put flesh and bones on what's a lie. Like it's actually a lie. Your mind can't be believed in that moment. It's telling you scarcity, it's telling you lack, it's
yeah. And I even found with that, like around the house, some people would find that part of it difficult. People want to talk to it and they want to get into it, and I'm like, I don't really want to talk about it, I don't want to get into it, and they're kind of like, and that's, people are, they don't understand my mindset on it. But I found that with people, when I'm trying to not let that voice in, and not let my brain mix me up and kind of say those stuff to me, and people want to talk about it and get into it, and I'm like, I don't really want to talk about that, because I'm trying to hold strong on I'm not getting into it, I'm not making it real, not putting it out there. And yeah, I found people found that a little bit difficult.
So would you have thought that they may have perceived you then to be avoiding or not acknowledging the reality of it, and it's all going to come crumbling down on you?
And even sometimes like that, when I would imagine other people think that, even then again with your own mind, sometimes then I'd say to people, I don't want to talk about it, I'm not getting into it, then you find your own brain saying, are you avoiding it? Do you not want to talk about it? And you're like, again, shut up.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah, so I understand that, and I understand the psychology and psychotherapy thing, you know, about avoidance and, you know, not wanting to talk about things. And my thing with you was I was always watching to see if you were having difficulties, although you may not be saying it. There might have been stuff happening at an unconscious level, and that would have come out in your behaviour. So you would have heard me asking you, like, how was your relationship with Megan? You know, your nutrition, like your eating, your behaviours, your actions. You know, it has a way of coming out of you some way. And I used to watch it. You don't obviously drink, you don't smoke, you have a beautiful relationship with Megan, it's wholesome, it's honest, it's clear, it's clean. And people ask, how are you doing? And I'd say, she's doing good.
well, even back when you said about not speaking about it, maybe I was thinking, I don't mean I didn't speak about it at all. Like when I say I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to get into it. I was just very particular on who I speak about. We spoke a lot about it, so it wasn't that I didn't, like we were talking about there, avoidance stuff. It's not that I wasn't speaking about it. I'll just be very mindful of who I speak to it about.
Yeah, and this is not a judgment.
No.
Because me and you have always been focused on the solutions rather than problems. And a lot of mindset of people, and especially if people come from a scarcity, lack background, they grew up in an environment or in a place that harbors that kind of mentality, that's what's going to be, let's say, supporting you with your difficulty. You're going to speak into that, and they're going to go, well, it'll come from, and it'll be unconscious and it'll be innocent. But you're like, right, I need to focus on solution rather than problem.
Same with what I said about I only would speak about certain people, or certain people I wouldn't speak to about. And like with me friends, they probably thought, like you said, I was avoiding it or didn't want to speak about it, but they wanted to be there to support. And that's how they knew to support. But for me, that didn't feel beneficial. Oh my God, talking about and texting about, and it's like you said, it's not a judgment. It's they were doing their best to support me. That's how they knew to do. But I just felt like certain ways, like speaking about, and oh my God, you know, it just didn't. I've done that before, and it just didn't feel beneficial, you know.
Yeah.
Other people might, like some of my friends like talking, and you know, like, you know, they're going through something, they like to talk about it, and that's fine. But for me, that just didn't feel beneficial.
Did you feel like if you keep talking about it from that level, from the level of the challenge, the level of the pain that was in it, it just created more of it, the more of them feelings. So it was a hard enough thing to go through. But then you're also then, by speaking into it and talking about it and telling him or them that, you're just re-experiencing it to yourself.
Even the first day it happened, like I rang, you were the first person I rang, and then obviously word got around friends and family, and even the amount of people I had to tell that it just happened, by the end of the day, like telling me closest friends, we had to tell me nanny because I meant to go out with her that day, telling you, then I went down to nanny and I tell her. By the end of the day, I was nearly like, is this over already? Do you know, even that small, just telling people it happened was like, every time you went at it again, it was creating that same, like, you know, feeling inside where...
Right. So this is beautiful to talk into and to recognise that part, that feeling, that emotion, that veracity inside of yourself. A lot of people are unconscious to that, and they don't realise that they're just rehashing it, replaying it, regurgitating it.
You could be like, say, by that night I was in yours and like I was cool, I was calm, and then someone will text you, or one of my friends will find out, or they'll text you like, or how are you doing, and then like that they want to get into, or they want to talk about it again, trying to help. And you feel it, like you feel it's so physical, you feel the feel. And even like certain, like I'm sure people understand, certain people that you speak to or talk to, and you just feel that kind of, you get that feeling, and you're just like, yeah, this doesn't do This
Yeah.
doesn't do any benefit.
And let's put it out there and to say to people, you didn't avoid feeling it. Because
No.
you felt, we sat in the studio and you cried, you felt all the emotions, you felt lost, you felt angry towards
Yeah.
family members, you were confused, you're like
And that's what I say when I was said a couple of minutes ago, like, it wasn't that I didn't speak about it, it was just, again, in a way, and to people or someone that, it was not even, I don't mean beneficial as in I wasn't benefiting something from you, it was more that there was a purpose to it, not just talking about it to go over it and over it and over. It was like I'd come to you when I was confused or sad, and we'd kind of, why am I feeling like that, or what do I want to do, or when there was situations when I was kind of doing stuff after trying to sort it out or whatever. It wasn't just like, oh my god, this is awful, like you know, that kind of way. There was a purpose to the talking about, and not just, gossiping might be the wrong word because it wasn't a gossip, but just chatting about it for no reason, you know.
Yeah, it was engaging in the scarcity mentality. It's an unconscious thing.
Yeah, like I
and
said,
it's
my
the
friends
drama.
are trying to be support, like, it's just people support how they know best.
And it elicits a lot of lovely, familiar feelings and emotions to people. Your stuff will remind other people of their stuff, and they'll get into that unconscious addiction to the pain and lack and scarcity and poor Sean, and there's a big fight on, and I'll sort this out, and it's rah, rah, rah. And you felt that inside yourself, and a lot of people are unconscious to that feeling and emotion. You're like, I don't want this. A lot of people don't realise that they're in that, and they're addicted to that, and they just stay with it. They'll predicate your stuff, that pain into yours. I'm explaining this, let's say this right. They will play it out in your stuff.
Like familiar,
They'll get into your, and then they'll be into the next person next. And why papers sell the drama and news and all that kind of thing. It helps people to play out their addiction to the hormones of stress. And you're like, I don't want to keep Rick's what?
Yeah, just like that. I'm not gonna do that to myself, because, like I said, I've done it like younger, and maybe in other situations when I was less aware. And looking back, it just doesn't do anything to make you feel good or help you. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel good.
No, it doesn't. And so let's talk about, like, well, the lead up to that, we had my dad's passing.
Yeah,
the tools
January.
The January my dad passed over. The May, then you had the homelessness.
Well, you even remember the month before that when I'd come to you, and I think did I text you, or you maybe the month before the homelessness, and I had
the eviction.
Yeah, you had text me. I don't know what the situation was. Maybe you texted me to see how I was doing or something. I had voice noted you crying, and you were like, "I'll come down to me and we go for a walk," and stuff was kind of, it was kind of bubbling, and like, it was like my body or something knew that something was coming, even before it was coming, wasn't it? Like,
yeah, we walked around Patrick's Park, and me and you had this similar conversation we'd had for a long time.
Yeah.
We'd talk about stuff and and you know, I'd tell you what I became aware of, what I noticed, and you know, and we had spoke about then, like, this is gonna go the way it's gonna go, but not knowing what was actually being played out in the background behind the curtains.
Yeah. That's what I mean. It's crazy.
And then I got you a session with Tommy. You done the session with Tommy, and I think maybe 2 weeks later.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, that was the start of May, and then 22nd. Yeah.
So just so for just to understand, so on what date was it?
The eviction.
Yeah.
22nd.
You rang me.
Yeah.
It was about 9:20, was it?
I don't know if I'd be up that early, maybe.
I don't think you had a choice what time you were getting up at.
No, I don't know. I can't remember the time.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah. So you got a bang on the door. It was the sheriff for Dublin City Council. The place just went off.
Yeah. It went crazy. Yeah, I just had to make myself a little coffee. Life was good, about to get back into bed. Love me snoozing, and knock on the door, and yeah, I just rang you straight away because I was like, what the hell? Everyone was going crazy, and it was all getting a bit wild. and I just rang you. And you know, sometimes when I think, not that I think back on it often, to be honest, but when I think back on it, it was all like it all just kind of happened, you know, like from the knock on the door and you coming. I don't really remember that middle bit, but yeah, knock came on the door and then you came, and then yeah, after that was just the whole kind of thing of it was just a bit of it all just happened like.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying the couple of months before that was the passing of
My dad.
my granddad died. Yeah.
So they were two pivotal points for you and me. Like the both of them I use as a training and a learning exercise. So, and they're both similar. So I was preparing for, which was my dad's passing. So we knew this was coming, like everyone's going to pass and transition over into the spirit world, but my dad's was imminent because he had the cancer. So I was prepping myself for this, and I got the call like I got your call.
Yeah.
So I got the call from my dad's, and I prepared myself by what I always do. I close my mouth, I breathe through the nose, calm the nervous system so I can be fully present and do what I need to do. Same when you called me, I went in like I did with my dad's passing. Initially there was a panic. My body got taken over by the hormones of stress. As you spoke into the voice in the head, started speaking, the shame of my daughter being homeless and and then with my dad, and I instantly just quietened it all down and remembered why I'm here. I'm here to serve, I'm here to love, and I have to embody that peace and joy. And when I went into my dad's, I closed me out and I was peace. When I went over to yours, I'm like, right, because I'm going over there and that place is going to be like a lunatic asylum. Like it was wild.
Oh yeah, wild. And that's like, I remember the start of when it happened and it was just chaos, and then you coming, and I don't know if around me actually died down, like the chaos of it all, or I just remember it got less chaotic from that point. For me, I don't know about other people, maybe everyone was still in the chaos, but for me...
Because what I done was, I says, I'm not going to be going over there as the problem, I'm going to go over there as the solution. What's the solution? Peace. I'm going to be peaceful. Everyone else probably going to be going bananas, even the sheriff and all them, because they'll just respond to what's going on around them. You know, it was me, they didn't do anything wrong, they were just doing the job. So I hadn't got a problem with them. I was only over there to help you. My job was to help you and be peaceful. And I remember grabbing you, going and getting you. And once I was peaceful, they let me in, they let me talk. I got you, I said what I said in your ear. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Focus on the solution. Stay in the game. Don't lose your head. Stay in the game. Let's focus on the solution. Solution focus. And then,
because it's easy like to get caught up in that when it's when there's nothing else around you, you know what I mean? Especially when you're like the only one that, say, is kind of holding that little bit of peace or trying to be, like when something's inevitable, being chaotic and being angry, and again, doesn't serve any purpose. But when everyone else around you doesn't know any better and is going crazy, and it can be you can get easily dragged into that, and again, it just doesn't feel good. It's not a judgment on other people, but you can physically feel it. Like I've done both, and this, like I always say to you, and when you were like, when you used to bring me to your workshops, and you're like, well, I'd be thinking, why do I come here? And my friends go like, why do you go to all of that stuff? And I'm like, because I've done both, you know. I've tried, like, when you're younger, you're chaotic and angry and crazy, and then I come to your workshops and I see the way you and Browna live, and I'm like, sometimes I'm just rocking along, and I'm like, I used to be like, I don't know why I come here, and then I'm like, I've seen both, and I know which one feels better, you know.
Feels better. That's a great one. Feels better. And let's just point into what you're speaking into there. When you go over there, and we'll call them nameless faces. They're all swarming in a certain way, like a bunch of starlings in a murmuration. They're all just flying in a certain way, and you're out on the side going, I'm not getting into that murmuration. That's called an emergence, where everyone's swarming together, and you're like, I ain't gonna do that. And it takes a lot of gravitas, it takes a lot of energy and a resilience and willpower, and to not.
It's easier to, and that's sometimes easier to to get into the chaos, and just especially when like that, it's something so personal and it's sad, and it's like, you know, it can be your body wants to start swinging and crying and screaming, and yeah, it does take a lot to not get into all that. But again, as I said, especially after, you just feel so much better that you didn't, because like things like that, the eviction or whatever, it's inevitable. It was happening, and it was like you're fighting against.
It's like trying to scoop the milk back into the carton.
Yeah,
it's spilt, like it's on the floor. We have to deal with it.
Anger and craziness, and it was done. It wasn't reversible. So let's just not even put myself through that, you know.
Yeah, and here's a very important fact, is that you can't change a situation with the level of energy that it was created with. So if there's stress and anger and violence or madness, you then trying to change it with the same thing,
it's not gonna work.
Like if there's war, the antidote to war is peace. So my thing was, when I'm going over there, is to be peaceful. Like, you know, to be peaceful with inside of myself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's in service of you, that's in service of the people around there. And then there was a lot more clarity then. I could ask specific questions. I could get information. I could then start navigating you towards finding your solution, because I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, people don't, I feel as well, like even say in a situation like that, people don't respond well to anger and chaos. Like they don't.
What do you think comes back then?
Same energy. Yeah, it just creates a lot more clarity, and like I said, it's the easier option too. It can feel like the easier option. You just want to get, if other people are being angry and chaotic, that's just how everyone then starts to act. But like you said, as soon as you came with peace and calm, that was created by everybody. Everyone just wants to be heard, and they want to help, and yeah, it's sad and it's not a great situation. But as soon as you come with some more peace and people start speaking, they stopped shouting, and it was quite visible. That's what I'm saying. I remember the point of it forced to knock on the door. I was unfortunately the one that opened the door. To that, the middle bit, from that to that was a bit like, I couldn't really recall that part. But then from there on, I just remember it kind of all calming down.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And it's
But even not only with that situation, like speaking about college, like remember me saying to you about my exams and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I was able to just sit back and watch it. I felt like I was watching from a balcony. Like I felt like I was up on the balcony, and not like, I mean, I'm looking down on people, I don't mean it like that, but I was able to just step back from it, and it was just like bees or something, just like everyone was like, and we've known about these exams and these stuff for months, and we've been preparing for this stuff. But I just see it, and then one person, it just takes one person to say something, and everyone's in with it, and everyone's panicking, and
so this thing what we were talking about, the birds, this emergence, this
and
murmuration.
You see it, watch it, if
it's contagious.
Yeah. And people, I remember walking into an A&P class one day, and I walked in, and there was a couple of them down the back, and they were talking about obviously being stressed and something, and someone was like, "Oh, there she is. She's not stressed. Are you stressed?" And I was like, "No, I'm good." And like, "Shauna's never stressed. Come on down here, Shauna, to us. We need you to bring some of the peace down," or something like that. And I was like, I remember just thinking, like, I was just floating in, and the difference, it just takes one person to not get into it, and it just changes it all. And like, there's nothing special about me that I'm bringing peace. I'm just not getting into I've seen it just takes one person to start it and one person to end it, and it kind of, like, I was like, yeah, no, I'm good, and we started talking about yoga or something else, and it was gone. It just takes something so simple just to start it or change it, you know. Like, so now that I seen that at play in such a big situation, if you watch things in your life, you'll see it with so many other.
And you have the power then to influence your environment.
Yeah.
Like, you have the power to influence, and then you get to choose which way you're going to do. Are you going to add to the problem? Or are you going to be a solution?
Yeah, like when I
and
say
a solution might be, it's just not adding to it, not stopping it at you. You just put the brakes and go, I'm not actually contributing to this.
Yeah, like I was just about to say there, like even when I say it to my friends, or like I believe in things will work out, and some of my friends say, "Oh, that's just the way you are," and I'm like, "There's nothing special or different about me." I try to get them to just get a little taste of that not getting into it, that peace. Like it's not. They say, "Oh, that's just how you are. That's just the way you are," and I'm like, it's not like I just was born and I've always done this. I've like I say, I've done both. I've done the chaos, done the anger, and then I've done the not getting into it and the peace, and it just feels so much better. And that's what I say, to be hoping they can just get that little taste of it, because like what I always say to you, when you make me aware of certain things, I'm like, I can't unsee it now. I can't unfeel it. Like now I'm like, not to everything, but I'm aware of things I wasn't aware of before, and sometimes I'm like, please take me back to them unaware times. But you just can't unsee it and you can't unfeel it. It just.
What people, like your friends, I'm sure your friends know your background, but like you didn't grow up in a peaceful environment. And this is not to knock anyone. I'm taking responsibility for this. Like I went out with your ma, I left your ma, I walked out with your ma, and you've heard me talk about this in workshops. I've abandoned ship, I've abandoned you, your ma, many times. So you would have been left with the carnage of that. Your ma would have been a single ma, had her own challenges in life, whatever. So you'd have been around that. Then you'd have been around me, although I was a loving father. You would have got a bang of my unconsciousness as well, you know, my avoidance, drinking and drugs. So it's not like you grew up in the Plum Village with Thich Nhat Hanh, do you know what I mean? Like you didn't grow up in a monastery, in a monk's monastery. So you would have been around all of that. So as you say, you got a taste of, like you lived in the flats, my flats, your ma's flats, and they would have been challenging times. So you would have been exposed to it. But then you also then, over the years, then you became exposed to a more peaceful life.
For me, it was always like it was, yeah, like you said, things wasn't. I didn't grow up in the most peaceful place or whatever. But for me, it was either like this or that. And some days, like you said, it's easy to get into the chaos and to get into the madness. And some days, your brain and your body just wants to be like, here, just go with it. Be crazy, be mental, be angry. And some days it's more challenging than others to be peaceful and be calm. But as a whole, for me, it was like you join in on it or you be peaceful. So yeah, just the feeling of the being peaceful, and like I said, seeing the way you live, the way Brona lives, and for me it's really clear and it's really obvious. Like it is some days, as I said, it's more difficult than others, and you're like, here, but the majority of the time it's a very clear polar opposites. And yeah, like I always said, and I just be toddling along to your workshop and
But like even me dad's passing, like I said this, and it's not just a cup of tea conversation. There's a gap between stimulus and response. Stimulus, something happens externally or internally. There's a stimulus, you know, you're responsible for the stimulation. Stimulation is how you respond, what goes off inside of you. So how I respond to what happened to you, how I in your eviction, in the family's eviction out of the flat, and how my dad's passing. I'm stimulated inside about that, and it becomes a choice. So my choice was to be peaceful there, and then with me dad's, well, yours was peace and love because I love you, and then with me dad, absolutely adore me dad, love me dad, love me ma, love me family. That became the choice as well. That I'm gonna choose peace and I'm gonna choose love. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to avoid crying, being confused, being angry, unsure, panicky, chaotic inside myself. But I'm gonna let love and peace be my guide. I'm gonna aim towards that everything I do. And just like the conversation I had with you when I grabbed you at the flats and said, "You're like, this is what we're gonna do. This is stay, keep your head, salute." I said to you with me dads, and we spent a lot of time together at the early doors. Me dads, and we walked, talked for hours. Was that we're gonna do it different. I said, we're gonna do this different. We're gonna do it different than it would be normally done. And you were like, what does that mean? I said, we're going to focus on love. We're not going to focus on the hardship, the loss. That doesn't mean that we're going to, say, avoid any of that. But we're going to let peace and love predicate the passing.
Yeah, because even with, like, not that I've had many deaths, but in families and friends, and you have this idea of when someone dies and funerals, and it's, oh my God, and not to say it wasn't sad and it wasn't anger and all the stuff that comes with it, but you have this idea of, like, even you said Grandma had cancer for so long, so especially when he got sicker, we knew it was kind of coming, and you're kind of thinking, oh, how will this go? How will I be? And I must forget me train of thought. No, I have back. How will I be? And you have this kind of idea of what it's gonna be like. And I remember when it happened then, and I stayed with Nanny for the week, and of course, like you said, we walked and we talked, and I was sad and I cried and I was angry. But I remember my friends and Megan being a little bit surprised that, like, they're like, are you all right? Like, yeah, like, you know, they weren't, like, Grandma, I was so close to Grandma, so I think they expected it to be like me to be up in the air and crying and miserable, and I was sad, obviously. Obviously I was sad and I cried, but just to be this big
fall apart.
Yeah, thing. And then even sometimes I was thinking to myself, I was like, do you even love him? Do you even like him? Or is he even close? You know, your brain starts, like, again, what I said at the start, your brain's getting in on you, and then I'm like, no, because that's not what I do. Do you know what I mean? I just keep, like, I don't mean I just keep going, but like you said, the love and the peace, it takes over that part. You have your sadness and your anger, and but yeah, there was no
Again,
falling apart happening.
I watched your behaviour like I watch my behaviours. I watch people's behaviours, you know, how they're handling. I watch how my ma was handling. I watch how you were handling. I watch how Kieran and his family and mine, and you know, and I'm looking for, like, you showed up. You showed up for me ma. I showed up for me dad. You know, you're always there. You dropped in. You had the conversations. You didn't avoid anything.
No,
You didn't keep away at the start. You didn't turn away from me dad. You didn't turn away when me dad. Oh Jesus. When my dad was losing so much weight, you know.
But that, even though, like, I didn't, that, like I said, with your brain, like, some days you go and you're like, your body's telling you not, like, you know, you want to not go so bad, like, because it is difficult. But yeah, like that, like I said, with everything else, you just go, you just do it, like.
Yeah, and this is the thing, how you handle it after is how you handle it before and during. It's the same way. Like, I didn't shirk any conversations with me dad. Like, I went, like, me ma, like, this is the maddest thing ever. Me ma be out in the sitting room, me dad be in his bedroom. I'll be in there talking to me dad about death, and I go back out, me ma's like, what did he say? I was like,
talk about the football.
Yeah, like, we'd be talking about death, but they never talked about it.
Even I sometimes tell, like, I remember telling Megan that the one conversation I always say to people, like, when we go to ask you, how do you prepare to die? Like, some of my Megan and some of my friends, like, nearly turn inwards when I say, like, they just can't, like.
That me dad asked me.
Ask that, or any of the conversations that you tell me that you've had with my granddad, like, because we talk about, like, even Megan just be nearly dying at some of the stuff we say and talk about. People just find that difficult. So I think that's, like, across the board in a lot of older relationships, or maybe even some younger, I don't know, but that they just don't talk about it. It's like,
I wanted to have the conversations, you know. Because I wanted to talk about the thing that would be helpful if it was helpful for them. I thought this would be a helpful thing to do. If you want to talk about it and you want me to help you navigate through this, because it's the unsaid stuff, and I, like you, if you're going through some stuff, I'd say to you, like, tell me what it is and I'll help identify if it's lies for you. Like, you know, I don't tell you what to do. Well, I try my best not to tell you what to do.
But tell me to sit up when you're drumming.
Oh, people actually thought I was serious.
You know what I was thinking? Why did I listen? I never like, what, you just told me I can't say something a minute ago, it's grammatically correct. And I'm like, I don't believe that. Why did I literally sprung up, and then I was like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I felt like I was
And
fucking
people thought I'd be
school or something.
serious with you on Sunday. But yeah, no, I would say to me, Dad, you know, you want to talk about that? You want to help me through it? Is there anything, you know, I can help you out with? And then we used to get into the conversations, like as me dad said to me, used to put my hands on his chest and I'd say, I love you, you're my hero, you're my right king. Keep the faith. And then when I was walking away, he said to me, how do I prepare to die? And I was thinking, fuck. But not to the point of, oh man, I can't answer this. It was like, right, okay, let's have this conversation.
Because they didn't speak about that, it's like you're the one that you feel it's good to ask that question. It's just mental from all them years of not speaking about it.
Yeah.
And then he feels good to ask you that. Like, that's like a...
Yeah, and I used to say to him, like, what are you afraid of? And that conversation was, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of dying? Is the, you know, it was trying to help him free, like to say it instead of being sitting there smouldering over it.
Thinking of yourself.
Yeah, like you want to bring up, let's kind of help you with that. And, you know, we same thing what we speak about was like, you get to choose love over fear. And I don't mean, oh, just think about love. Like, think about the things that you love. You love having conversation with Shauna, the grandkids, the football. Like, what are you focused on? Even in your sickness right now, you can still find glimmers of.
Yeah.
And again, that's not avoiding that stuff is gonna come up, but are you solely focused on that all day, every day? You know, yeah. So we were able to navigate through that different, and that was a decision I made when these passed was coming, because I didn't avoid the conversations before, so I didn't avoid it afterwards. I didn't avoid the challenging stuff right the way through. So I was able to handle it.
Made it easier as a whole, yeah.
It was just the same.
Different than
It
what
was
you would what other experiences I've had with death was. Yeah, it was definitely very different.
Yeah, and you know, when we worked in the market, people would come up and say,
That was the best.
you know, it's the worst thing ever.
You're like, it's actually not.
It's actually
And
not.
you know what? Nanny said that to someone the other day. I was like, oh, her. She spent too much time with you. She says that to me. I was saying it to her.
What did
Someone
she say?
said, oh, this person died. It's awful. And she said, it's actually not. She's at peace now. She's been sick for a long time, and
Yeah.
it's peaceful for her. She's back with whoever her husband was.
Yeah.
I was like, is that my nanny or my dad? And
Yeah,
she was
like
tying her laces.
my thing was like, but they were saying it's the worst thing ever for me, and I'm like, but it's not. Like, you know, like just even now thinking about me dad, his pictures over there, I've just got his memorial card. I can cry at the drop of a hat thinking about that physical experience of not being around. But it's also given me the gift of really teaching me how to love in the darkest of nights. Like, I cry in me flat on my own, you know, but I still be able to love and show up. You know, it's taught me like how to actually really choose love over fear, and then the relationship with me ma, the relationship with you, having the responsibility of helping the family move through it. You know, to actually show up as love, not just say, oh, love over fear online with you know, social media or with clients, that I actually get to demonstrate.
Yeah, that's like it's the perfect practice of doing that. Not only that you're going through it, like, is your dad you've just lost, but then you have to guide a whole, like, there was a lot of like, I would say probably responsibility on you. Like, my nanny leans on you for a loss, so you have going through, like, it's your dad you just lost, and then you have to me looking after my nanny, and then you're doing the arrangements and all that. It's like, that's the, like we said, it's easy to do the anger, and that's like the perfect use it like, as an example to practice in that moment.
It's a teachable moment. It's live, tangible classroom environment.
Like you always say, like, you go online, you make your videos, and you're talking about all this, like that's the perfect practice to practice what you preach. Could
Yeah,
you call it?
yeah,
Not
and
even preach, but
yeah.
it's like, am I really doing what I say I want to do or want to be? Like that's the perfect opportunity.
And you get to do it. And I remember like the 2 days after my dad's, no, sorry, it was a day or so after my dad's passing. And I said I was going to keep a ring fence around for my ma, so you know the help poor, that you know, and then one person slipped by the radar, and I remember feeling myself lighting up like a Christmas tree with anger and rage, and I was like, right, this is not love, this is not peace. Go into the room, my dad only passes, right? Dad, what am I going to do here? What's the crack? What way? And he was like, this person is your ma, whatever. Don't want to talk about anybody. I'm like, okay, Dad, go to bed, matter.
I don't think it's not a personal to, like you said, I don't talk about people. It's not even any specific people. It's just an example of a
He was my
situation
teacher.
where,
That lit me up. Anger, I'm stimulated.
This is like the force one. It's like, here you go, this is the force one.
Yeah, and I just
Tell
went
me
to
what you
bed
worked
and I
with.
got up and he was gone. It was gone. I was like, right. I stayed with love and I stayed with the mission that I was gonna do it different. Because if I went that with anger and irritation, that could have been just the stuff of me dad's passing coming out of me and I'm just putting it out in the world. That's not love. That's not, because my dad was very loving, he's very kind, and so he was my guide, he was my teacher. In the physical world, now that he's passed over, he's in the spirit world and he's in the metaphysical, let's say, outside of the 3D world. He guides me, you know. And then when people say, oh, you lost your dad, it's the worst in the world, I'm going, but I didn't lose him.
Yeah, I remember you saying to, I don't know who it was, in front of Megan or some of my friends, you were like, I talk to him now more than ever. Like, what?
Yeah.
You just think that's crazy, like.
Yeah, and I do, you know this. You know, I asked him for guidance around helping me ma, guidance around my own relationship with Brownie, with Mia, with you. Like, what do I do here, Dad? Am I making the right decision? Is there something I'm missing?
Yeah.
Like, and you know, I talked to my dad a lot before he passed over. In all of the years, he was my go-to. Like, even me saying that, I feel emotional, that the loss of that's gone. He was talking about my business. Oh, I made this today, Dad. I made that. I was done this, and he'd be rubbing his hand. Good man, Matzer. He loved a little cash job and all. So that's gone. But now,
it's just a different form.
I speak to him like I'm doing this, Dad. I'm thinking of doing that, and I still tap into him. And I be thinking, am I just gone fucking bonkers? Am I just talking to myself? I'm like, am I going mad? Am I actually speaking to?
Nothing.
Like, I thought I was having like an episode, and I was in the shower one day, and I was
You said to me, I do ask him, you'd be walking down the road and you ask him, like, oh, left or like, oh, right. Okay, maybe into.
Me and you and Mia were in Stephen's Green one day, and I had some stuff moving through, and we just, again, say fears or doubts, or was just trying to hijack me. What we call the generous present, which is the now. I'm out with my 2 daughters, I'm having a good time. The hormones of stress are rising in me. And I was asked to go to a party in the Light Being group. Someone was having it was a gathering there, and there was something else the next day. And I was literally like, I don't want to go. Like, I just literally don't want to go, because the hormones of stress was telling me, stay at home, don't go, And I'm like, Dad, what will I do? And my dad's like, you're going to the thing, you're going to that party, and you're going to go to the thing tomorrow. That's the best thing. He didn't tell me. He's like, that's the best thing. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to go. And he's like, Matzer. And I'm walking. In Stephen's Green.
I'm probably talking to you.
Yeah, and
You're having this conversation in your head.
Yeah, it all happened quite quickly. And then I was like, right, I'm going to go there. I'm going to go. And here's the thing. I went, and something magical happened at that. And then I went with that person the next day, and something good happened to that as well. So if we were to go back to what you had said earlier about not speaking through the pain and speaking it out, and then getting people to get into it with you, and having a banquet on the story of what's not happening, the lie in your brain, you can miss out. So my brain was telling me to stay in and don't do anything. And this is the thing when people come with And when I work with people, they come with challenges and difficulties and loneliness and stay in and they believe all their thoughts. There has to be a point where we say, right, we'll have to call that out. It's obsolete, that way of thinking. It doesn't work for you. It's not helpful. It's misaligned. It's trying to keep you safe.
Like what I always say at your workshops, you and Browners Love Breath Miracles, like the day before, even on Saturday, just go and you had Love Breath Miracles on Sunday, and I always have a good time. Like, it's just nice. I don't do breath work all the time, not that type of breath work, so it's nice to do. I enjoy going, just have a good time. Saturday, and I'm like, like my stomach was sore. Will I just not go? It's Sunday. Should I not just have a lie on? I've been up early all week, and your brain is going, and I'm just watching it, and getting into it a little bit. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe I'll just tell me that I don't want to go, and I was just like, shut up. And then I went and had a good time, had a little nap. Like, what? It's just, it's mad. But if I had said that to someone, to Megan, or they'd be like, don't go if you don't want to, just stay at home. And like, what's going on? Your brain just tries to do something.
And I only had this conversation with someone today, a pal of mine out of Liberties in groups, Brenda, and we were talking about, not doing things you don't want to do. Don't do things you don't want to do. Right? So if you think your brain is telling you don't do this, a lot of times it's the body mind, it's an old kind of pattern, an old thing that's stored in the body that's telling you, oh, don't do that. You have to call that out. That's that same voice that talks to you when you're going through something, everything's going to be all right, and that goes, but will it though?
Like
you're just avoiding.
Like what I said to you before, when I feel that in myself, like Megan thinks I'm mental, she's like, that's, how do you do that? But like when even though I'm listening to my brain doing that, I know I'm not texting you and telling you I'm not coming, and I am going, but it's just, I just
So you're like watching a movie.
And that makes me want to do it even more. I'm like, you're not getting the better of me today, brain. Like, or if I'm gonna go somewhere, or
that's amazing.
Do you know what, as well, when I started to do my nails and my brows, and when you're a little bit unconfident, and then you get someone new in, and I booked them in, and all good, and I'm excited, and then it gets closer to the time, and I'm like, my brain's going, oh, what if they this, and what if this, and what if you don't do them good? And you watch it and you're like, will I just text them and cancel, or will I just tell? And then I just watch it and I'm like, no, we're definitely doing the nails now, and then we're gonna book them in again. I'm like, oh, you're not getting the better of me today, like.
And this is so important for people to hear,
because it's never as, like what you always say, like 99% of the things you think, like you always say to Megan worries a bit, and you say 99% of the things you worry about, they don't come true. And like that with my nails, and what if they don't, like, what if I can't do it, and what if they come with mental design and I can't do it, and it never happens. You end up making good friends, and these people have come back to me now time and time again, and it's always just good fun. Like,
so if you see all the books, no, you've seen all the copies, the notebooks, all the things that I have left around the flat, like full of just absolute bullshit, lies and stories and shit that my brain would. All my journals, all the notepads, you looking through them, you go, my dad is a serial killer.
Yeah, but I remember Megan looking at them before, and she's like, I relate to it, but what the hell?
Yeah.
Wasn't them?
I used to write this down because it's fucking lies, it's bullshit, and then you bring it to someone, and then they'll get into it with you, and they'll fucking make a song and dance and a film and a movie out of it. But it's basically with lies.
And that's why sometimes I find it difficult when people ask me, like, how are you like that, or what do you, like, obviously everyone gets that in their head, they don't want to do things, and they get fear and whatever, and sometimes I find it difficult, like I said at the start, to, like, if I'm trying to help my friends, and people, and like my friends and Megan just think, oh, you're just like that, and I don't know how to describe it, because I'm like that when I'm going to a workshop, or I'm going to do something, and I don't kind of want to do it, my brain's trying to convince me otherwise, and it's like, I don't really do anything, I just don't give myself another option. It's like, and they're like, but how? And I'm like, I don't have any tools or tips to help you. It's just like, there's no other option. It's not like you, when people said to me, oh, like, all that you overcame over the eviction, and you went to college, and how did you get past that? And I'm like, there's just no other option. And sometimes I feel like, not bad saying it, I don't mean I feel bad, but I want to be able to like help me friends or Megan do this and do that, but there's just no, like it can sometimes when Megan and my friends are struggling, sometimes I feel like it comes across a little bit harsh, but my intention is never to be harsh. It's just, there's just no other option. You just...
So no, what you were saying is, let's talk into that. So what you're saying is that you become aware that there's two choices.
Yeah.
So right, this choice here, which is the voice, which I've identified from early doors, is a liar. It's a pathological serial killer, psychopathic liar. It lies to me all day, every day, tells me this, because how do I know? Because I've fact checked it. I've fact checked it. I've listened to the lies, I've listened to the bullshit about a certain thing, like you said about the nails, and then after the nails, I had a good time. I really enjoyed that client. They've rebooked. It went really well. I went back to the lie and went, here you, shithead. That was a fucking lie. That was a fucking spoof. You tried to sell me a fucking snake oil there. Right. Then another thing comes along. It tries the same game and you're like, hey, fucking snake oil seller, you tried that last time. So now, like, you're going, right, I'm going to choose the thing that I want to do because I know that that lie always comes up. It's familiar, but it just dresses up as something else each time. Does that make...
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So getting into what I said to me, that does love or does fear? And the fear sounds like this, talks like that, tries things like this, yeah?
Yeah, even down to things as simple as, I was thinking this driving in the car the other day, Nanny asked me to get her, just as a random example, Nanny asked me to bring her to get a chip pan, and then she asked me to go get her some vanilla drops. And then last week I had other things to do, and there was something that I had to do, and I was putting it off for a little bit, and then I noticed it, and I was like, why am I putting that off? And then I had a couple of lists. I love writing a good list. I had a list to do, and I done the list, and then sometimes you notice, like, you'll just go through phases where you kind of put things off. So you'll have a week where you kind of put things off, and then you'll have a week where you just get things done the day of. Like, Nanny asked me on Saturday to bring her for a chip pan. We went on Sunday, that's done and over with. And I was just thinking, like, you feel good when you get the things done that you want to get done. So why does your brain and your body try to... It's really like it tries to sabotage you and make you not do them things. And it's not about like getting things done and not getting things done, but you just feel good when you get the things done. And then you feel some weeks where I look back and I'm like, why did I prolong them things? Because it's just like you're lying in bed and you're like, and you're thinking, oh, I didn't do that and I didn't do that. And you're like, why does your brain try to do that? You just feel good.
And what did you come up with?
When you get the things, just do the thing. Just do the things you don't want to do, or
this is huge.
Just get it done.
I don't know who it was. Mel Robbins. I think it's Mel Robbins, that lady. She was like, if you spent most of your time doing the things you don't want to do, you'll be seriously successful in life.
But this is what I'm saying, the example of, it's not just like, oh, I just get it done. I've done both. I've done the putting things off and not doing that, and I'll do it tomorrow and I'll do this.
Procrastination, avoiding.
Like, and not to say that I don't have weeks where I go through
low
that.
productivity.
It just happens. I'm not every day. I'm not on it. But I would say 90% of the time I try my best to do that, because not because I just want to do this and I want to be great. But you want to be good, but I don't want to. It's not just to do it or to say I've done it. But I've done both, and just doing it just feels better.
Yeah, because you're getting it done, and then you're eliciting what's known as dopamine. It's the reward center. It's a feel good when you go after, oh, I've got this task to do, and you get it accomplished. A little dopamine hit, like when you look on Instagram, dopamine. But you can get that dopamine by being successful in your life, and that doesn't mean you
small things.
Yeah, like, that's not like you have to go out there and climb mountains. If you want to climb mountains. But you can get dopamine in by setting yourself your tasks that you need to get done today, being productive, and accomplishing stuff in your...
like I dropped Megan to work and I knew Nanny wanted the vanilla and I needed sachets, and I was driving and I got a certain amount and I was like, will I go over, will I not? And I could have left it because I could have done it any day, and then I was like, right, I'll work out, I'll drop Megan, I'll take this turn, I'll go there, and then by the time I'm back, I can see Nanny come here, and it all just worked out, and that just feels better. But I could have left it till tomorrow because there's no real rush on it yet. Like, I wanted my sachets, Nanny wanted our vanilla, but I could have left it, but it feels good to just get it done, you know, and then, yeah, it just feels better. It's not about, like, ticking off your list and having it done. It's more the feeling of them.
And that's a really good point to talk about. We're here to feel, to experience. Why not feel and experience love, joy, success, abundance? Feel good.
Yeah.
And the thing that you're avoiding would probably be the way to get that accomplishment, get it done.
Yeah, that girl Mel Robbins, she was on, I think, this morning, yesterday, and I didn't watch it, but I seen a short clip of that, and she was just like, motivation, if motivation was easy, we'd all have six packs and we'd all be millionaires, but the biggest one is doing the things that you don't want to do. And she speaks a lot about the 5-second rule of getting up in the morning and stuff, but that was the one clip I seen, was like doing the things you don't want to do. And that's something, like I spoke about a few minutes ago, was like when my brain starts, the first comment is like especially with the Love, Breath and Miracles, like I don't sign up, space is just always there for me, so my brain is like, he's not dependent on you to go, and you're not really signed up. And as soon as I hear that, I'm like, I'm listening to it, and I'm letting myself think it. I know I'm getting up at 9 the next morning, I'm going to Love, Breath and Miracles. It's just like, even I just watch the brain, but I'm like, I'm just doing it anyway, you know.
Let's talk into the benefits of this work, the work like that I do, you do, now that you're a yoga teacher, the meditations, the being in this world now, but like not just being a spiritual tourist, or you actually do the work. You, from what I'm hearing, what you're saying is you don't go off teaching yoga and running class or whatever and then off behaving and practice a different way, but you're reaping the benefits, how you think, how you feel. Like physiologically things have changed for you, i.e. pains and hips and period. Give us the benefits of that from you, from a female perspective, and how that's helped you.
Yeah, so obviously last year we spoke a lot about the eviction. That was in May, and then I started yoga in September. So from probably May to September, I was just kind of floating along, not looking after myself, but just a little bit careless. I kind of was, not eating as well as I usually would, and not exercising a lot, not moving, just kind of just floating along. And then I started yoga in September, probably before May, maybe. It was before May. Things probably got a little bit, I wouldn't say worse, probably heavier then, but say for a year or so before May, I had this pain in my back.
And you've had that for a few years.
It was probably a year or two. It was
on
kind of got heavy,
on off.
And then it got really kind of heavy after kind of May and stuff. But yeah, so for one, I had the physical, the pain in my back, kind of into my side, really sore period, like painful. The week before coming up, I'd be sore back, sore everything. So yeah, I started then in the September. So I started my yoga course. I started moving more. I kind of just started, just doing a little bit more after the whole kind of summer of things being quite heavy. I started in September, and the difference, physically, a big difference. So I remember starting in September, I started the yoga, but not only did I obviously start the physical movement of the yoga, speaking to different people in the college, and as we spoke a little bit before this, went to the doctors, I got my back checked, I got scans, internal, external, I went to physios, and I remember you speaking to me a lot about like women and holding emotion in their hips, and I believed you because I know you believe in the things you say, so I obviously believed you. But when the pain was so physical, I could feel it. It was like, I believed you, but I was like, I don't know if that works for me. This, I don't know if that one.
But I never tried to convince you.
No, you just said it, and it was just,
This is an option.
But go for your scans, go for
Do whatever
your
you want to
thing.
do.
Yeah.
Find your way. Find
Slay
your
the
way.
day away, go to physio, right? And
Slay the day away.
yeah, I done all the things. And I remember starting yoga thinking, oh, this might help something. Kind of took a little bit of time, and I was like, no, not really. I actually remember going to my yoga teacher and telling her about my sore back and saying, because there was a couple of moves that it really exaggerated. So I was like, obviously it's physical. I'm doing a cobra and it hurts. It's obviously physical. Like I'm not holding nothing in my hips. I'm good. So I remember going to her and thinking, like, my back feels a bit weak, and I even went to the physio, actually, going back a little bit. I even went to the physio, and he basically told me, you don't have an injury. Maybe I had put on some weight, so he's like, maybe strengthen up your core, maybe strengthen up your back. And I'm like, he's telling me to go to the gym, and I have this pain in my back. Like, what will the gym do? I even went to Eva and I said, like, my back is weak, and I had told her what you said to me, because she would be on that line of holding emotion, and she's not just the physical yoga.
Looking at the whole.
As a whole, yeah.
Watching it.
And she although she done me out a sequence, she agreed with what you said, and I was like, here, someone just fix me back with this. But yeah, so even then, I remember going to my first couple of A&P classes, and we start doing muscles, and I remember saying to you, like, my back is sore, and you'd be like, where? And I'm like, right there, and you'd be saying, Shauna, there's about 10 muscles around that area, and I'm like, he's meant to be a PT in sports science, and he can't even fix me muscle on me back, tell me what muscle it is. And then Anne confirms, like, showing us all the muscles in the back, and I'm like, oh, maybe right, it is harder to point out where the muscle is coming from, and it might not be from your back, it could be from your hip, it could be from your leg,
pain.
It could be from your neck.
Yeah.
I'm like, here, I might as well just lie down.
And die.
Yeah, lie down, die. So yeah, I'm getting off track, but I started the yoga, I kind of got more into this kind of world, and jumping to the end, but the pain is gone. The pain in my back is gone. I don't have painful periods. I used to know, I'd know when my periods was coming, my back be sore, I'd be wanting digging someone in the head. I never did, but I would want to dig someone in the head, poor Megan. I'd be eating the whole press. Things were just exaggerated, the pain in my back, and it was mad, because when I get the pain in my side of my back, it was worse than coming up to my period. So I thought, it's obviously physical, my womb is broken, I'm gonna die, I have a tumour, something's going on. And then you're not trying to tell me, but you were going on about emotions in your hips. And that's why I really get it when people, sometimes I tell this story and people are looking at me like, is there something wrong with you? And I'm like, I know, I was there, I looked at you thinking, what? Emotions, this is physical, I can feel this. And then another even example I tell people was, like, I remember before starting yoga, and we had only done a little bit of kind of gentle yoga maybe for a year before I started my class, once a week only. I didn't do any practice at home, I didn't like have a self-practice. I only done it once a week on a Wednesday for an hour, and it was quite gentle. And I remember going to yoga with Aoife, and we done all different types, and like I'd be like sweating during the class, my heart rate be going up, but I'd be thinking, like, how does this even help fitness? Like, what's kind of going on if doing me little Superman and me warrior too? And I'd be like, just thinking, what's going on here? You know, like when I first started, I'm like, what am I really doing here? Just in warrior two, thinking, how did I get here? And then we went to a boxercise class, because I would be predominantly mouth, chest, like breather. So in
brilliant.
the yogic breath would be close your mouth and breathe in and out through your
nasal
nose.
breathing.
So, yeah, I found that quite difficult at first. And then I remember us going to a boxercise class with you, Megan, and Brona, and I just noticed, like, so remember, like, I would keep my mouth closed and breathing through my nose, and like I wouldn't have done a lot of cardio fitness in the last, I don't know how long I danced for many years, but in the last, like, older years, getting into 20s, I didn't do a lot. So I remember thinking, I'm gonna die in this class. And I just remember doing it, and I was halfway through and thinking, like, I'm alright. I don't feel like I'm gonna have a heart attack like I have before. And I clicked, and I was like, it's mental. Like, from beginning yoga, I thought, I'm just making shapes here and breathing through my nose, to like then being in a boxercise class, not feeling like I'm gonna have a heart attack. Like, we went out running in January before, like just before my granddad passed, and I couldn't even run for 60 seconds without nearly dying. And I got like an hour into that boxercise class, and like I was out of breath, but I didn't feel like I needed to lie down. And just little things like that kept kind of popping up, and I was like, this is mental. Like, you feel like, even some people are like, what is yoga? And I'm like, how do you even put it into, like, we were just speaking, like, the definition of yoga is union, but for me that barely even does it justice. It's so much more. And I was speaking with a girl, I do our brows and our lashes, I was doing her the other day, and I was telling her I want to bring yoga into the area and stuff, and she's like, oh, I'd love to try it. And she's like, what, like, how was it for you? And I'm like, how do you even, I need to come up with a little something to explain it. But it's just so much that there's just so much that it has done for me physically and mentally, and me breathing, and like that with the pain going. And yeah, it's mad. There's union for me doesn't even do it justice. There's so much.
You seem to, it appears that you integrate it in all parts of your life.
All parts of your life.
Like, it's not just on the mat.
No.
Like, would it be right in saying that you live the yogic life?
I try my best, yeah.
How you, not try your best, you do your best.
Yeah.
You speak it, you act it, you behave it, you think it, you walk as it.
Yeah, 100%. Like even what I'm saying, sitting here with the breathing, like small things like me posture. I was talking to Brown the other day, saying when I first started yoga, I was like this. Even you'll probably see me in this sitting back. Like Aoife would come over every single yoga class. She'd come over, and that's connects with me breathing. Then I would be a mouth breather, because of course I'm gonna be breathing through my mouth, because when I'm slumped like this, I can't get sufficient oxygen in. My lungs are closed. My shoulders are closed in.
Beautiful.
Like even down to me posture. Like every single class, she done this great thing where I even do it on my friends when we're practicing yoga. You put your leg behind their back and just slightly pull your shoulders back, and even just things like that. It's like sitting up tall and breathing properly.
And that opens up your...
Opens up, even like, so I was thinking, oh, it's just, I breathe through my mouth and that's just the way I am. But I also what's that word?
Roll your
Roll
shoulders.
my shoulders in, so that connects with your breathing. Everything is linked. She used to be doing some stuff with us in college, and I would think everything is dependent, like independent.
Yeah.
We're just doing this, and then you see it all. Like, of course, your breathing it's hard to breathe solely through your nose because it's a smaller hole. When your shoulders are caved, and yeah, just everything.
How it's all linked.
Yeah, we were speaking the other day. A lot of people say to me, Shauna, you've lost weight, and someone said it to me at your workshop the other day, and I went home and I was thinking about it. And I was thinking, yeah, like my kind of response is like, yeah, I haven't been eating, like I'm watching me eating a little bit more. And then when I went home, I was actually getting my breakfast ready, and I was thinking, what? It's not just eating, because I don't put a lot of pressure on me eating. Yeah, I've kind of, I watch it a little bit more, but I don't restrict myself. I don't like I'm not on a diet. Sometimes when people ask me, what are you doing? What have you changed? And I'm like, at first I'm like, I don't really know. And then when I look back on the last year of my life, I was thinking today, I was like, maybe I do know. It's not just eating. Like I'm doing my yoga, I move more, my headspace is different, I'm a lot happier. Like so I was answering people, oh, I'm just not eating as much, and then I was like, it's so much more than that. Like my whole life has changed. I am happier, I'm moving more. I'm like, think back to May last year, when say from May to September I would have put on some weight. And I'm saying weight because it's physical and you can see it, other people can see it. That's not like the only thing. It's just people can't see inside my head and feel how I feel.
So that's the weight expansion, or the weight expansion, the body composition expansion is a symptom of a challenge or a symptom of a problem.
So that's why I say weight. It's not because I'm focused.
It's just using as a reference point.
Because people can see it.
But inside, it matches the inside, because you had stuff going on inside.
Like me and Megan were chatting about.
You're using food as a comfort.
Yeah, so we were chatting about last year, like me, Nanny, and Megan and me nanny were chatting, and me nanny was saying when she goes through some difficult stuff, she finds it hard to eat. And I was saying I would become careless in how much I move. I wasn't doing any exercise. I was just eating whatever I want. And again,
it didn't get out of control.
It just
changed slightly.
Yeah. Like again, I would have at the time I would have said, yeah, I'm good, and I was good. I was
as good as good can be.
As good. But then it's only when you look back, and now I'm like, it's not just like me weight or me food, it's so much more than that. It's the inside, me head, me peace, me movement. It's
Your conversations, your thinking.
there's
Yeah.
a lot more to it where people just see the outside, and I was putting it down to, I'm just watching me food. But when I thought about it then on Sunday, I was like, it's so much more
This is a huge
than
piece
that.
because people may perceive that if I just go to a yoga class,
Oh,
if I just get to teach yoga, it'll be grand. It requires an integration.
Because when I look back in my life, like say down all my teenage years, I've always, if we look at it from the outside, because as I said, people can't see the inside be weight, I look back and now I see fluctuations, and it's only now that I look back I see it was more than just your weight. But at the time I was unconscious to it. I just thought it was me diet and me exercise. But looking back now at where I was in my life, what I was doing, like me leaving cert, where I was living stuff, it's like now it makes sense that it's so much more than that.
Right. So like what I said at the start of this
And how you feel would probably be the main one.
deadly. What I said to you at the start of this podcast, this episode, was from homeless to wholeness. It seems like you have grasped and understand from a lived experience the benefits of wholeness. You embody that now, wholeness. Homeless. You're just a homeless person. So you embody the wholeness.
Yeah.
And you see how it must be integrated all of your life. You see how the important pieces of, like you said there, sleep, how you think, your environment, your conversation, your nutrition, your movement, your yoga, your breathing, your posture. And then it's not to throw too much at people, but that's what this requires. It's like driving. You can't drive a car and just work on the pedals.
Yeah.
You got to use the steering wheel, you got to use the brakes, you got to use the mirrors, you got to use the indicators, the window wipers. That's the wholeness of driving. And the wholeness of life is that all of these are important factors.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't mean you have to go 100% on them all,
Yeah,
but just be mindful of them all.
It wasn't something that I was like, I noticed and I was like, right, I'm gonna move more, I'm gonna be happier on the inside. It just like doing, say, yoga and being in that environment, it just naturally all kind of comes together. It's only when you look back you think, it was an integration of all them things. It's not like for people to, like you said, go crazy and change all these things, because I think that is just a bit too much. But say by picking up a bit of yoga or going for walks with your friends or doing these small things will help
connection and friendships. And
it's only when you look back you realise, I wasn't doing all them things. It's like it's not for people to go crazy and try to fix all this stuff. There's no fixing. But
there's a good point that you made there, is that if people are having challenges in life, they may say, if they're carrying a bit of extra body weight that they don't want to have, they're a little bit over their whatever BMI, if you want to believe in that kind of stuff, or whatever, that people would just go, well, it's just me diet, and just focus on that. There's many things that you can get mini wins in, and they're low hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Your sleeping, the way you think, the drinking, the movement, the posture, and that's what I love about yoga is, and it talks about union. You can bring it in all of your life, bring union in to all of your life. Another word is balance. Like what I'm hearing from what you're saying is that there were probably parts of your life that you didn't feel balanced.
But at the time, it's hard to see it. It's only like, say, when people say all this stuff to me and then I give an answer and then I think back on the answer and think, like, is it like, I'm like, I'm just eating, and then I'm like, it's not, it's so much more than just the food. But it's hard at the time. You think, I'm just rocking along, and I've been kind of, I've done that for some years. I'm just rocking along, just floating. It's only when you look back and you realise.
But what you'd be able to would be brilliant with then is helping people identifying
them things.
People are having challenges in life and think, I just need to go on a diet. They're having difficulties. They feel isolated. They feel like they can't show who they truly are, and you know, or they're embarrassed about public speaking or standing up and being seen and all these kind of things.
And people, I find people, they want to do these things. They want to try this new class. They want to try yoga. They want to do these things that they've always wanted to do. And like when I speak to my friends or Megan, and I'm like trying to just get them to get that little taste of like, it feels so much better when you just do it. It can feel so scary, like so scary when you haven't done it yet or you haven't pushed yourself. It's like, if people could just get that little taste of how good you feel when you just do it. Like even me, say, going back to college, like there was no one who came from my area who sounded like me, who looked like me. We spoke a bit about this, the type of people that were in my course, and I remember going thinking, what am I doing here? I remember looking at some of the people in my course thinking, if you were to put me and her together, there's no way you're picking me as your yoga teacher, you're picking her. Like, yeah, and my brain is like, oh, why am I even here? And if you let that get in the way of everything, of course you're never going to do anything. But people really want to do the things, and with my friends, like I just wish I could just get them to get that little taster of what it feels like to just do it, because people want to do it and they want to try the new class, or you know, it's just getting past that like kind of
fear, the barrier.
Yeah, like what you spoke about the other day. It's like, what did you say? It's like kicking down the door, and then once you do it, you're like, that wasn't so bad, or that feels good, you know.
Feels amazing. Yeah. Like, and here's the thing, that level of energy that comes from the fear and the anxiety and the lack, when you go by that barrier, that perceived barrier that you've put in front of yourself, you're the jailer of the prison. When you get by that energy gets squeezed up and into your heart and open up, you feel amazing, because your energy cannot be created or destroyed, it can only be transformed. So that fear gets turned into excitement and happiness, and that's why you see kids are like, yay! Like, that's just energy. That fear and anxiety can be squeezed up through the energy centers, the chakras, as you as spiritual gurus would talk about in the yoga world. The chakras, it can be used as fuel for the heart, and it feels amazing, as you say. If you could just taste a little the glimmer of it.
Yeah, even when I started my yoga course, and like I remember walking in, and there were only like maybe 12 of us finished or something, but I walked in and there was about 30 people in the room, and I had just come back actually from a holiday. I was worried I wasn't going to make it, and I'd just come back, so I was a little bit, not unprepared, but I just felt like I hadn't had time to be home and get ready. And I remember I had my nails were long at the time, and I just felt so unready, like, because I was like, oh, you're not supposed to have long nails if you do yoga, and I've never really done yoga, and these are all going to be bendy Wendy's going in here. And I just remember sitting there thinking, what the hell am I doing here? And then when you just keep going, like, and as well, there was an open day, like getting to meet everybody, and it was out in Sallynoggin, so it's a 40-minute drive for me, and I was thinking, will I go? I'll just meet the people on the day, and I don't really need to go. What am I going to say? And they all, I don't know. And I just went anyway, and I was so glad I went, because everyone remembered, like when I went back,
just went anyway. That seems to be a common theme, right, the way you speak in here.
And I felt so much better, and people remember, oh, you were here in the open day, and I was just like that. I was so glad I just went back and done it. And I remember people saying to me, oh, that's deadly, Shauna, I'd love to try that. And I even had people text me on Instagram when I graduated, and they were asking me, where did you do that? Oh, I'd love to try it. And I'm like, just do it. And I think it's easy. If some people think, for me, when I've done it and I've graduated and I went to the college, and sometimes it feels like, oh, I'm like, just go for it. And people are like, oh yeah, it's easy to say, but like, again, I'm just like, I just want, if you could take it in a piece of cake and just get people to taste it, like, just go for it. Like, it's just, yeah.
And it's just like what you said, there's a choice. You can either listen to that voice in your head, or you can either just go for it. Because you know from your past experience, because you've tasted, you've had glimmers of happiness, you've also had glimmers of shy cake, and that you didn't like. Now you're like, right. And then that just becomes an easier way. The new way becomes the easier way. But before it was a harder one. But something like this is going to present itself again. Don't go, don't do it. Like, you will up your game again. You will move your bar. You'll go higher and higher with what you want to do.
What's that thing, Pete? Is that like, I think this is the thing people say, like, or maybe it was when you were younger and you'd go to ask someone something, and or like parents say to their kids or something, what's the worst they can say is no. You know, when you want your friend to sleep over or something, you're like, just ask. like in my head I'm like, when I want to do something, like, no, obviously I'm not like, say we're starting me classes or whatever, I need a bit of, say maybe you're good at like making sure I get things done, and
Accountability.
not all areas in my life, things obviously are come up as challenges, but majority of the time I'm like, what's the worst that can happen? It doesn't work out, or you don't get accepted, or like I remember speaking to Megan about my driving test, like I passed on my third time, and Megan's quite nervous of doing her theory test, or what if I fail, and I'm like, I passed my driving test on me. We literally had this conversation in the car. I was like, I passed on my third one, and I was like, do you think I was stopping if I didn't pass on the third one? And she's like, what if you? I'll just keep going. And they'd be sick of seeing me in the Tallator driving centre. I was just gonna keep on reapplying. How many of these can you do before they tell you, sorry, you're never driving? It was like I was just gonna pass. I was just keep on going until I passed it. As much as I cried every time, I was like, you have to pass sometime. It has to work out sometime.
Just keep going. So what's the message that you would share with people? You know, you went through the passing of my dad, the eviction, got homeless with the family stuff, and then returned back to college. What's the learnings that you'd share with people? What's the nuggets of gold that you leave with people for that?
Well, the main one would be like the most we spoke about would be
your mindset.
Have you said this before, or did I hear it? Like, I feel like you've said it in videos. It's like, feel the fear and do it anyway. Did you say that?
I think someone else said it.
Maybe
I would have just like,
so the main one would be like that. Just
who says it? Is your man Ving? No,
that's a good one. Listen to the voice, hear the things, and just do it anyway. Like,
don't believe the lies that your mind will tell you.
Don't believe the lies that your mind is telling you. My big one is, the main one I feel like has served me best, and the things I've enjoyed the most is when your brain and your body and everything inside you is telling you not to do something. Even if, like me going to your workshops, I've nothing to be fearful of. Like, it's me dad, it's not like I'm going to anything new. I know everyone. It's like them sort of things in your brain's telling you don't do. They're the things you enjoy most. If you just feel that one bit of doing something you really don't want to, once you just feel it once, you'll do it again and again and again and again. So just go for things. Even when people speak about me and the things I've done, yoga and my nails, and they're like, oh, like, Shauna, I just wish I could do the things, and I'm like, I just wish I could.
But you can.
You can. People like think I'm like, there's nothing different about me and you, or I've just done it and you haven't yet. So
haven't done it yet. Love that. That's empowering for people. You can do it too.
Same,
and I'm rooting for you.
Same what I'm saying. Like, I say that to my friends. I kind of hate when they're like, "Oh, Shawnee, you're just like that," and I'm like, "No, we can all do it." So the main one is just go for it. Just go for things. If you can just feel that once that you felt that kind of, you didn't want to do a pull against it, but you've done it anyway. It just takes one time to feel it, and you will do it. And it doesn't mean you're never going to feel fear, or you're going to have the thoughts in your head, but like we spoke about at the start, you'll start gathering this portfolio of things you were scared to do and you didn't want to do, and
that becomes your CV. I think
another one as well is, I'm still, obviously you still work on it all the time, but not doing things and not being afraid. Like, it might not work out. Like, I might start something and maybe I don't like it, but then we'll just try something else. Or, you know, I think people as well with like starting, like, say, businesses, or people think, oh, it's a fear of it not working out, but you just find something else and you just go again, and that's probably the main thing. And do some yoga.
So what's the future plans? If people want to work with you, what's the offers you do? What's the service you've got? Your nails?
So I have my Instagram, SB Brows and Lashes. I do nails, I do eyebrows, I do lash lifts. I do now yoga. I'm a qualified yoga teacher, massage therapist, aromatherapist, and reflexologist.
So you've gone from homeless to wholeness. You've got your own treatment room.
I have a studio where I do all of the above. SB Brows and Lashes is my Instagram. I will probably separate me therapies, like me nails and me yoga and massage and stuff like that, just to keep it a little bit less confusing. But right now you can find me there on Instagram, or my own Shauna Burke on Instagram. I will hopefully be bringing yoga to the area, Dublin 8.
Just looking for a class, or looking for a premises.
Rooms, if anyone wants to help us out. I'm still on the look for some rooms. We have an event the 19th of June.
19th of June.
19th of June. Breathe.
Get out of that garden. It's called Balance and Breath.
Balance and breath. I was like, breathe. Balance and breath.
Balance and Breath.
In the DigiHub.
So it's going to be a combination of yoga and some breath work. So if people are finding life challenging, busy schedule, you know, life is getting a bit chaotic, you know, this is a great thing for people to do.
Or even if they feel they don't want to do it and they don't know why, definitely do it then.
Yeah, if you find yourself overthinking, ruminating, worrying, complaining, if you've got kind of a challenge inside of yourself, it can be very obvious that there's not balance, there's not order, there's not coherence, and that is what we'll be aiming towards, bringing balance, bring coherence, bringing what's known as homeostasis back into the body. That's in equilibrium. When we get too warm, the body will help us sweat, brings down the temperature. We get too cold, it shakes, gets the heat back up. That's the power of the yoga, the union, bringing balance, coherence back into the body. We'll use Shauna's yoga, and then we'll use the different modalities that I use to help people. So as Shauna spoke to many times during this podcast, that you get to feel it. You get to feel it, and then you can bring it with you. And we'll share all the tools and tips that we use ourselves and what I use within that. And we'll hope to have it on the monthly.
Yep.
Yeah? Is there anything else? What's the one thing you'd like people to walk away from this interview with?
What would I like people to walk away with? There's a word that I'm trying to think of, and I can't think of it right now. The word is gone from my head. There's another word that's similar. It's not hope, it's not optimism, like I can't, the word is not coming to me right now. I can't think of the word, but what in a short summary of what I'm trying to say is that there's things that you want to do, like we said about me, there's nothing special about me, there is special about us all, but there's nothing that makes me be able to do the things I want to do. Everyone can do it, you can do it too. If you want to start this thing or go to this class, that you can do it.
So everybody has the power to do it.
Yep.
Brilliant.
You can do it.
Two things. First one is, I love you. Like, I fucking love you. You're an incredible being. I have let go titles years ago. I say you're my daughter, but I don't see you as my daughter. You're just this woman, girl, female I'm on a journey with. Like me ma's not me ma. And just to watch you, the level of strength, courage, optimism, resilience is fucking phenomenal. Like, I probably don't tell you as much as, although I do tell you.
I think you do.
I do, but I feel it more.
Right.
Like, as much as I love Mia, I probably tell her, but she probably doesn't realise how much I love her. But you as well, I watch you in awe. Like, you're not, like, people go, oh, she's your daughter. I go, oh yeah, it's just, that's just a concession to language. You're just being that I get to walk on this journey with, and it's fucking phenomenal. Like, considering where you were, what you went through, no, you don't see it, it's a mindset you have. But what I have seen other people go through similar things and chose a different path in prison, drinking, relationships, smashed in bits, can't hold down a job, where you just went through this. And it was a pleasure for me to help you with that, to walk with you in the courts and do all that thing with you. We didn't even speak into all of that today, because we'd be just talking about the problem. But knowing that people are going to go through similar things like you did, this is a good way to do it. And what you spoke to in here was how you feel in it.
I was going to say because it feels good.
Because it feels good. People say, oh, do it this way, and you try that way, and if it feels disgusting and painful, and that's an indicator that you're going the wrong direction. But you've done it that way, and it's just fucking incredible. So well done. I love you. You're just the best. Just keep fucking going.
Keep slaying the day away.
Keep slaying the day away. Like, this is the thing. Like, that's the another part of this is the relationship we have. Like, I like, you are my, like, reminder of how love, how much love I have in my life, the love that I have for you, the relationship we have. You know, there's times when I don't feel like the best father in the world and I maybe could be doing better. That voice in my head, I think of you and I think of my kids and I think, all right, I'm doing a good fucking job. And I think of you and I look at you and go, wow, I'm in this with you. Not like, look what I've created. I don't say that ever. Look what I'm in this beautiful relationship with this being, with me ma, with Kieran, with Brown, and go, right, but we're just specifically talking about yours, and it's just incredible. So I thank you for that. I fucking absolutely adore you. Well done.
Thanks.
And it's like, I know this is probably cliche, but I'm excited to see where you go. I know people say, oh, I'm excited to see our future, but I am. I'm like, I wonder what you're going to do next. I wonder what you're going to, like, how far you can go with this. Like, not from like, oh, you have to do this. I never put pressure on you. I just watch with excitement. Same with Brown, we talk about this. I wonder where you'll go with this. Because what you do, I see how that impacts Megan. I see how that impacts the home that you have, the environment that you've created. And I think, wow, I watch how Megan's navigating through life and I go,
like what you said about yoga, like 2-3 of my friends come to yoga now with me, and I never asked them to come to yoga, and it was only when you said that I was like, that's mad. I've never said to anyone, oh, you should come to yoga with me.
yeah.
I never asked that question, and you said that to me. You were like, you've never asked your friends to come to yoga. They just see your life, and not that I do anything to make them see, but it was mad when you said that. I was like, wow, I never actually have.
Yeah, no, you didn't. Because here's the thing, people don't do what you say, they do what you do. They watch. Like, I've said this to you loads of them. I'm not just saying it because the camera's rolling. You're clean, you're clear. You don't talk about people, you don't gossip. You don't complain. You used to talk about certain things over and over again, and then we talk about that, and I'd explain to you why you did that. But you wouldn't be gossiping about people. You just like to talk about certain things, and I just brought light to it that, like, this could be this and that. But your signal is clear and clean. You don't badmouth people. You don't have badness in you. You're a kind, good person. Like, that's not me just blowing smoke up my daughter's hole. Like, I just watch. Like, we just see it as a being going, fucking, your message is very, very clear. You know, same with Brown is, there's no ill ways about you. Deception, you don't try to deceive or rob anything. And you know, my background, I used to do shit like that. So, what? Little scammer. And you don't do that. You live the life. You live the yogic life.
That's what I said, when you become conscious of these things, you're like, you can't unsee them, and then you go to do something, or even I catch myself saying something, and I'm like, it's like physical, I feel it. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, like me going to lie now. I can't tell lies. I can't tell lies. And I would have had a PhD in telling lies. I could lie our Lord off the cross. I told you fucking black was white, and I'd try to convince you that was true. Now you can't do it because it feels disgusting, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good.
So there you go. There's an inspirational story, an inspirational woman. If you want to do yoga, give her a shout, give her a text on Instagram or Facebook, and then we have Breath and Balance the 19th of June in Studio 2 in the Digital Hub. Big shout out to the Digital Hub. The Digital Hub have been so kind to me with helping me with giving me spaces, they've linked me in with working with their clients, the people that use their services. They've just been so kind to me, as has the Liberties Community Project. I'm still here in 90 Meat Street, thanks to Austin and the Liberties Community Project, the gift that keeps on giving. They're just an amazing organisation to me, and really, really kind. The Digital Hub and Austin. Who else am I missing? Niall Reilly from Rooney Media Graphics, my main man, my main sponsor of the podcast. If you look for any graphic design work done, they're your go-to people, Rooney Media Graphics. Thanks to Lisa and Shannon from the Shannon's Hope Line, doing mental health groundwork stuff here. They've got a cafe down the road. I've not been to it yet, but I know it's there, just haven't had a chance to do so. Maybe you could, or if any extra cash you want to sponsor them, send them some money, they could do well with some donations. Have I forgot anything else?
I think that's all.
So please share this with family and friends. If you'd like to know more about the work that I do one-to-ones with people. I run workshops, corporate schools. If any of what I've spoke about today sounds like something that I could help your organisation or you with, please send me a message. You can get me on matt@magicminds.ie, or you can go and see my website with all my information and see the work that I do, and maybe it might be of service to you. You'll find that on www.magicminds.ie. All the information will be in the show notes. So that's a wrap. Have a fantastic day, And yeah, look after yourself. Try embody yoga into your life. Union. Take care. Bye bye. I love you.
Slay.
I will run, I will climb, I will soar. I'm undefeated. Oh, jumping out of my skin, pull the cord. Yeah, I believe it. Oh, the past is everything we were. Don't make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is stars. It's not until you fall that you fly. When your dreams come alive, you're unstoppable. Take a shot, chase the sun, find the beautiful. We will glow in the dark.